My name is Grace Miller, and today I will be giving you a presentation on a disease called Scorbutus, better known as the colloquial term scurvy. In the 1800s, scurvy was a severe epidemic that killed more than 2 million Scottish and British sailors. The disease was so common among sailors that the governments assumed a 50% death rate from scurvy for their sailors on any major voyage. At the time, people thought that scurvy was caused by putrefaction in addition to an imbalance of the four humors. The theory of putrefaction being the cause of this disease was a result of the widely popular miasma theory, which came during the time of Industrial Revolution in England. Nowadays, we know that scurvy is a nutritional deficiency disease caused by a severe lack of vitamin C in the diet. The symptoms of scurvy include anemia, myalgia, lethargy, edema, gum disease, purpura nodica, and poor wound healing. These symptoms were often accompanied by depression. These symptoms are consistent in all accounts of scurvy through time. Here's a picture of gum disease that accompanied scurvy. You can notice some rotting and bleeding in between the teeth. Here's a diagram of the complications that accompanied scurvy. Gum disease caused the loss of teeth, and edema caused pale skin, sunken eyes, and jaundice. Here's an illustration of the purpura nodica or internal bleeding caused by scurvy. This was extremely painful and made it hard for sailors to walk around. The understanding of scurvy has changed throughout time. Our first account of scurvy comes from ancient Egypt. The earliest case of scurvy was found in an infant who lacked proper nutrition around 3800 BC. In true Hippocratic fashion, the ancient Greeks suspected that scurvy was an imbalance of the four humors. Thus, treating scurvy with bloodletting was a common practice with physicians in Greece. In the 1800s, scurvy was understood to be a death sentence for sailors. People assumed that it was caused by putrefaction, which came from the popular miasma theory. Putrefaction arose from all of the sanitation issues in the Industrial Revolution. Now, we understand that scurvy comes from a lack of vitamin C in the diet. It is not a common occurrence nowadays due to the availability of fresh fruits and vegetables in markets. Back in the 1800s, common treatments for scurvy included bloodletting, purgatives, barley malt, and alcohol. Now, doctors can treat scurvy by administering ascorbic acid and vitamin C in the diet. The treatment of scurvy in the 1800s was due to the medical influence of Scottish surgeon James Lind. James Lind created an experiment in which he found citrus juice to be an effective cure for scurvy. His experiment results were recreated through the famous Captain James Cook, who kept his crew healthy through the use of fresh citrus juice. The treatment of scurvy has varied throughout time. In one of my sources, Bound details the dozens of times that the cure of scurvy has been discovered by chance and subsequently lost. Influential physicians sharing the blame range from Boerhaave to the Scottish aristocrat and longtime president of the Royal Society, Sir John Pringle, whose political influence was great enough to squelch negative reports of his ineffective barley malt cure. Even James Cook was advised to give the malt cure to his crew, despite the rising popularity of the citrus cure. Before prescribing citrus fruits to cure scurvy, bloodletting, purgatives, barley malt, and alcohol were all common treatments. Scurvy is an interesting case because it is a nutritional deficiency of vitamin C, but nobody really knew that you needed vitamins and minerals in your diet at the time. Scurvy was stigmatized as a disease that only sailors would get in the 1800s, and it was seen as a tragic death sentence. Nowadays, scurvy is seen as something that happens due to a lack of care or due to stressors like other diseases, which may complicate a person's nutritional needs and values. There is still a stigma that scurvy no longer is a problem today, but it still happens. It is common in children, elderly people, homeless people, and low-income families living in food deserts. Oops. This disease gave light to how people need certain vitamins and minerals in their diet and how important it is to eat foods rich in vitamin C. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this presentation. I'm really looking forward to your responses. And here are my works cited. Thanks again!